So if you are somebody that does consume alcohol, this is where we just want to do it in moderation, because we're not saying you can't go and have fun for the rest of your life. Like in the summertime, I go to a really big music festival in August called Veld. I'm a huge house music fan. I have, like, if you're a house music fan, Tomorrowland is on my bucket list. So if you have an extra ticket, I would love to come with you. Side note. But when I go to Veld, like, I'll have one, like a canned Paloma that has been, I say air quotes, Chris approved. For me, I will have maybe 1 or 2 drinks throughout the summer, because again, it's part of that 80-20 approach. This is where we can really be looking at that 80-20 approach of how you eat. 80% of the time, when you have control over what you're eating, eat all of the wonderful things. That other 20%, when you're at events or wherever, that's where you can kind of indulge and choose what you want to have in that 20%.
Welcome to the Clear Skin Chronicles, the podcast that takes you on a journey to uncover the secrets of achieving glowing, acne-free skin. We believe that knowledge is power, and by understanding the root causes of your acne, we can create a solid foundation for long-lasting clear skin. I'm Katie Stewart, registered holistic nutritionist and founder of the Clear Skin Solution, where we help women just like you get to the root cause of their acne.
And I'm Chris Brown, registered holistic nutritionist and program director in the Clear Skin Solution. Through functional testing, we pinpoint where the body system imbalances lie so we can dive deep into your acne clearing journey.
We work virtually with clients to clear up their skin from the inside out and have helped thousands of women worldwide regain their confidence.
When it comes to nice weather, nobody wants to be inside. We're done.
Nope.
We're like, I'll sit on my porch sometimes.
No, so we live in Canada. We don't want to, we want to be outdoors in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
We got such a short period of sunshine.
Even in the winter, sometimes when it's really, really sunny, I tempt it. And then I'm like, oh, that was wrong.
That was a bad decision.
I'll just stand from the window.
I know. I like to be a cat. I'm basically a cat in the winter. I just stand. If you get a sunny day, you just stand in the window,
But that's good, because that can support a little bit of that vitamin D production, right? Through the skin, all these things. So when we're looking at the sun, we think fun, and then, we think acne and what's it going to do? A lot of clients inside the Clear Skin Solution will say, oh my gosh, my acne looks so much better in the summer. And I say, but does it? Right? And then they say, and what do I do when I go out to that barbecue? And can I go to socials? And can I do this? Yes, 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 and yes. So today's episode is going to be a whole lot of yes.
Yes. That's all it is today.
Because today it's a yes episode.
It's a yes episode, everybody, which I know everyone's probably like, yay, you're finally saying yes to things. Yay. Because we're always the bubble poppers. But yeah, today's episode, we really wanted to be able to help set you up for success during the summer season, because this is something we do with our clients all summer long, because we know that it is a really busy season for people. You're packing so much into those sunshiny months, end of May, then you're getting June, July, August, September. A lot of things are going on. We have weddings, we have, barbecue seasons, we have traveling, camping, cottages, events, all of the things are happening. So we really want to be able to help you navigate these social situations, and also help navigate the sunshine, the vitamin D, and all of the things involved with the summertime. So let's first start, Chris, with why does skin and acne look better in the summertime? Because we hear this all the time. My skin looks great in the summer, and then all of a sudden we're back to the fall and it looks terrible again.
So you and I, we kind of call it like that camouflage, right? It's acne camouflage. So the skin can sometimes
the tan is acting as a camouflage.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's going to appear healthier. It's going to look plump and nourished. And we tend to drink more water too, because it's warmer. So the body naturally gravitates. So we can cause part of that nice plump ourselves from the hydration. But what it does is it provokes the production of melanin, and that's in the skin. So melanin gives us that nice glow tan, that beautiful, I like it because I'm so white, right? Sometimes I feel I'm
super
I'm
pale in the winter.
Yeah. I kind of look blue sometimes. So I like it. But here's the thing. What it does is it might temporarily dry out the pimples and the skin, right? Because it's having that constant exposure. It can look like it's doing a reduction of the inflammation or the redness, because of course the skin is now a different color. So really what we call it camouflage is because it's a temporary setting. It's not that the acne is better. And now if it is fungal or some kind of bacterial, it absolutely can. So those are just different caveats. However, just to keep it really simple, is we have to just look at the whole component itself. So no, the sun exposure is not technically going to give you better looking skin. It's camouflaging the skin in a short term, might dry out the pimples, but also can be drying out the skin. So when we look at, what about scarring? People say scarring, right? Or they report reduction in redness.
But the issue with the sun and scarring is that if you have, when I say scarring, we should say dark marks, because there's the pitted scarring that's the pitted in the skin. And we're talking about the acne marks, the marks that are left after, the acne's gone, you get those fun marks. Mm-hmm. The sun can actually be darkening those marks and make them a little bit harder to go away. So if you are dealing with active acne and you are dealing with all of those dark marks, really making sure you're getting safe sun exposure, not overdoing it, will help reduce the scarring of the skin.
Yeah, because that UV light, that suppresses our immune system and decreases an inflammatory response. So this can actually cause redness and appears in short term. So we think it's a tan, or we've been outside and we have this luscious, beautiful skin like exposed, or what I want to say is like skin exposed to the sun. It gives that little red hue, but it actually can be opposite. It can be an inflammatory response. So that's a little bit, but they're like, where's the yes in that?
Yeah,
where's the yes in
that? So there is a yes in this, because getting sunshine in a healthy way is really, really important for our bodies. It's one of the best ways we can get vitamin D, right? The skin converts it to the usable form in the body. And getting sun exposure really helps us get a good amount of vitamin D, right? That's why, especially if you live in northern climates like we do here in Canada, we're often vitamin D deficient because we're indoors for 70-60% of the year. So it's easy to not get that production. So I know there's this fine line between getting too much and getting enough. So the best way to make sure you're getting a good amount of sunshine in your skin is it will depend on your skin tone. So let's first set up the timeline. Is you want to be getting unprotected sun exposure. So exposure to sun with no SPF outside of peak hours. So like before the 10, 10:30, 11, and after the 2 p.m. So what I like to do in the summertime is, I'll go out and walk the dogs in the morning or late afternoon, and I won't wear any SPF. So that way I can be absorbing the skin. And like, of course, when it's hot out, I'll wear a tank top and shorts. So that way a lot of my skin is exposed. So it's able to bring in that vitamin D. And generally it depends on your skin tone. Anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes of exposure of unprotected is great. So if you have more fair skin, you would be on the 15-minute side. If you have a darker skin tone, you would be on like the 30-minute side. And really making sure that you're getting that on a day-to-day basis will give you a great exposure to vitamin D. And then if you are going to be outside in the sun for extended periods of time, between that like 11 to 3 window, that's when you would want to be wearing your SPF.
For sure. And you have an amazing blog, How to Pick an SPF for Acne. So we can link that in the show notes, because we got a big lineup. We've got a big lineup of yeses. So
and what I love is the How to Pick an SPF. It's a blog for acne. It's a blog from a few years ago, but we just had our esthetician Ashley go and update it for us. So if you have read it before, give it another read, because she added some new updates in there for us.
Yeah, I love it. And like Katie said, you can be a cat. You can go sit in front of the window. Your windows are going to have a natural SPF blocker. It's usually not just clear glass, by the way. However, that sun exposure also builds up our happiness, right?
Who doesn't need a little extra happiness in their life?
Who doesn't need a little extra happiness? I'm just going to go sit in the sun right now.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to go sit in the sun. I'm going to be a rock lizard, go lay on a rock.
Right? And all of these things. So it doesn't have to be extensive amount of time. If you can't get out, if you can move your chair over, if you can take your lunch and go sit in front of the window and just eat while being exposed. I've done that many times. It's just so therapeutic, where you're enjoying your lunch, you're enjoying your thoughts. Watch your thought pattern.
Have a tea. Yeah, have a tea. Listen to the birds.
No,
be thankful
for
the
birds.
No, not the birds at 5 a.m., but like the nice tweets. At like the 9 a.m. Having a tea, maybe some breath work.
It's summer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like the birds that are waking up at 5 a.m. outside my window. They can just fly away. Thank you very much. But
Yeah.
really just being able to sit outside and appreciate nature and, say good morning to the trees, all, pretend you're in a Dr. Seuss book and really just enjoy that time in the sunshine.
So since we're going to be outside getting our D and it's nice and we become more social, like you said, what about barbecue season?
I love barbecue season. I love everything about the summer because I am one of those people that pack 6,500 things into my weekends. My husband doesn't like it, but that's fine. Let's talk about all of the events that are going on because we have barbecue. People are going on trips. People are camping. I'm not a camper. Cottage is about as rustic as I go. So we go to our cottage in the summer, weddings and all of those fun events. So Chris, is there any other events you go to or you try not to people?
Yeah, I try not to people. Let's not.
You're not, having going to pool parties, and I love a pool party. Like, sign me up.
I do. However, okay, let's rip the Band-Aid off. I'm very specific with my boundaries of who is in those areas.
I am in the boundary, right? I get to be in that boundary area.
Some days.
Some days.
We'll see how this one goes. But you know what? When I'm in really good company, absolutely, I want to socialize more, right? We're going to South Carolina. Not the whole fam, but Peyton and I, because she has a cheer comp.
Oh.
No.
Can I come? Comp. You know I love cheer comps. Can I please come? I used to be a cheerleader, and I am a phenomenal... I wasn't the best cheerleader. Like I was good. I was okay. But that's where I really honed, I feel, my leadership skills. So like I love like cleaning routines and like working on formations. So that's just a little
No, that gives me anxiety. I was just thinking about that.
I'm coming. I'm so excited.
Okay. So we're going to go on a tangent here for a second. Guess what I did?
What?
I volunteered to be a house parent.
Yep. What do you mean? Say more words.
There's like 15 or 18 kids on the team and there's 2 coaches. So all the girls stay in one house. They rented an Airbnb.
Bless your souls. Bless your souls.
Yeah. So, and then
I don't want to come anymore. I decided.
Then there was this drama about this mom wanted to, and this mom didn't think this. And then they wanted to give the kids a vote and all these other things. And I'm just reading this stuff. I stay very silent. I can't handle it. So if people wonder why I don't people and do outdoor barbecues, this is probably why. I'm just watching it unfold. And I went to Steve and I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, what? I'm like, look at this. And he's like, let me in. He's like you. He's like, let me in. I'm like, no, like, let's just watch this.
Steve's going to be the cheer dad?
Yeah. So long story short is they ended up taking a vote with we had to put our names in paper and I was chosen. So it was meant to happen. I'm just going, I just want to go for the fun and stuff, right? They have a pool. Yeah. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to get 4 days of sunshine.
Yeah, love it.
I really don't want to
get involved. You're traveling in the summer.
I am traveling in the summer.
You are traveling.
And I'm going, and there's a barbecue and it's kind of like camping because there's a bunch of kids. So if that's not the wild, you tell me what is. And they're all female teenagers. Mm-hmm. So looking at that.
I'm really on the fence about this trip for me.
I'm really on the fence. Okay. Well, me too.
I'll think about it. But let's talk about when you're going to all these activities. Of course, food is at the forefront of everything that we do in the summertime, right? It's a really big potluck season, right? Where you're bringing things. Of course, there's Canada Day for Canadians. There's 4th of July for the Americans. So there's really big celebratory events where there's always, always, always food. So
yeah.
Do we want to go through each of these individually, or do we want to kind of talk about them as a whole? We could probably break them up, right? Because,
well, I was going to say
we could break them up.
We could do it as a whole or break them up either way. Because, I mean, camping and cottage. Bottom line is there's prep.
Yeah, I'm an expert cottage goer. My family has been going up to our cottage since I was 8 years old. I'm now 34. I'm 34, I think. So I have this down to a science. And I remember being like 8, 9 and being like having my checklist and like going grocery shopping with my mom. I've always been a little crazy, as you can see.
That's great. What's crazy about that? But exactly, that's what I'm talking about, this cheer stuff, right? The very first day, they're saying, okay, it's going to be bagels and cereal.
Chris doesn't eat bagels and cereal.
I'm not. No. When we get there, I'm going to go grocery shopping and grab stuff that Peyton and I can have, right? I don't need it to be extensive. What's really great about, and this is an example I'm using, so just hang in there. What's really great is I saw the itinerary of what they do, and the coach has them. Every single room, so they're going to be split into rooms. Every single room is going to have a day and a meal. So listeners that are listening right now, please just listen to this schematic because I thought it was genius. Not only does it develop the skills, but it doesn't put the weight on one single person, and there's no isolation. So when they make their entire meal plan and say they're getting burgers, they could say, okay, can you grab a pack of gluten-free for me if we're gluten-free? Hey, if we're vegan, hey, can you grab some vegetarian burger patties for me? Right? So now we're making a meal that's inclusive to everybody that looks the same. So we're not isolating ourselves.
That's
so
exactly
I love
what
that.
I do.
Yeah.
Is
I always say to people that.
Yeah, so if we're going to like a barbecue, because we do a lot of friend barbecues. Now my friends are well aware of how I eat, and bless their souls, they always like my one of my best girlfriends, Mary. She always has like the healthy gluten-free crackers, and she's like, I got this for you, and I got this for the kids, and she's like the sweetest person of life. So whenever I'm going to a barbecue, because it's generally a potluck, is I will always bring something. Of course, you're going to bring something that you can share with everybody, and I never announce, oh, this is all gluten-free and organic and this and that, and I made it this. I just bring it and I put it down. Obviously, my close friends know that they're getting a very healthy something, but if it's a place where, I'm not as familiar with everybody, I don't go and announce it. And generally, I like to do things like a really beautiful quinoa salad, because you can get a lot of nutrition packed into a quinoa salad that is a big crowd pleaser, and it's pretty quick to make. So because you're getting the protein in the quinoa, so that's great. And then we have a couple is it out yet? If it's not, I'm pretty sure we have it out, but we do have a Thai quinoa crunch salad, which I think came out this week or next week on the blog. And it takes 15-20 minutes to put together. And when we were recipe testing this back in February, Paige was putting the sauce together, and she goes, this is her exact words, "This is magic in the mouth." We were like, what did you just say? She goes, oh my God, the sauce is magic in the mouth. Like it was, and all six of us that were there were like, this is so delicious, massive crowd pleaser. And there's a lot of different colors of produce and vegetables in there. So I know that if I'm going somewhere, I have a really healthy option should I not be able to eat any of the other things. But if I'm going to a barbecue, there's always generally a fruit and veggie platter. When I go places, there's generally like a hummus and a guac and a salsa that I'll have. So I generally will stick to those things because I don't do regular hot dogs or hamburgers or buns or anything, being celiac. But I'll generally, if I know it's going to be a barbecue, I'll bring a gluten-free bun that I can have, or I just will have just the patty. Like I'll do it on like a lettuce wrap or something. And like for barbecues, I generally will make my own burgers with just ground beef, and I even have a recipe for that on the blog as well.
Yeah, and we're not going to be probably making our own patties to go camping and stuff like that. We're going to
this is if I'm going.
Yeah,
this is like a family reunion, a friend's barbecue, that kind of stuff. That's why I think breaking these up would be better, because it's going to be a little bit different depending on the event. So Chris, is there any tips you generally give to clients if they are going to a barbecue, like a family reunion, pool party type of thing, where they have the ability to bring something to share?
Well, I don't like the word healthy, so that's just kind of where I go. But I like the quinoa bowl because we've got the protein, we've got carbohydrates, we have the fats because the dressings, these different types of mixtures. So what you're going to do is you are bringing something that can satiate you, that you enjoy, and then you can pick at the little things that you can also enjoy without needing or desiring all the other things that you shouldn't have for whatever purpose, whether you're on a therapeutic protocol, whether like me, when I say shouldn't have gluten, dairy, soy, and corn, why? Hashi, right? Celiac. So whatever that is. So when it comes to barbecue season, you have so many options. The sky is unlimited. We never have to worry about it. Find out what they're serving, mimic it. If you're some people do get nervous, right? Especially with skin issues, get really nervous. Will this trigger? Will that? Oh my gosh. And then this is the other thing. I always get I caved and I had a little dessert. I caved.
Yeah, we get that all the time.
So again, depending on where you are, work with your coach and they'll let you know how to navigate past that cave. It's also a mindset. It's habitual. It's deprivation. So to get yourself out of deprivation, eat beforehand.
I always eat beforehand. I never go hungry.
Yeah.
You need
Have
to keep that blood sugar level.
Something. Yeah, I always call it the sexy something. Like my family would even be, what are we bringing? What's our sexy something we're bringing? Do you see how I even shape it? My sexy something. Yeah. I shape it. So that,
and another big one. Oh, keep going.
I'm going to say even the kids.
I'm just so excited.
No, the kids will say, Mom, did you bring in the sexy something? Now, and then people are like, what's the sexy something? Oh, you know what? My kids really enjoy this. And, kids are kids. And then what do you think the people do as soon as I unleash the sexy something? They're like,
oh my God, I need to have the sexy something.
They need the sexy something. Exactly. So it really depends.
And there's so many great recipes on our blog. I linked a bunch in the show notes. That's what I was typing while Chris was sharing her story. Because I'm like, oh, this recipe and oh, this recipe. Outside of that crunchy Thai quinoa salad, like we have an herbed potato salad, which is great for barbecue season. We have a Mediterranean pasta salad that has chickpeas, so you're getting the protein in there. We even have, because I want to talk about alcohol, we even have a strawberry mojito mocktail. And I believe in June, I think it's in June, we have an amazing mint paloma mocktail recipe coming out as well. So stay tuned, because alcohol is another big component of alcohol.
Maybe that's what you could bring when you come to my house.
You want me to bring
a mocktail?
A mocktail? I can bring a mocktail.
Bring a mocktail.
It has like a mint honey simple syrup in it. So, I'll bring it.
Bring a sexy something mocktail.
I'll bring a sexy something. So there's lots of really lovely recipes that you can bring. And another thing which I think is important for any kind of these summer activities is loving up that digestion, right? Is making sure you're having some type, to make sure you're taking your probiotic for that gut health. Make sure you're using some type of digestive support, whether it's, a digestive enzyme or a digestive bitter. And if you go and download our gut loving cheat sheet in the show notes, Chris and I have listed out some of our favorites there. That you could be taking to make sure if you do accidentally get exposed to something that doesn't sit well with you, or you do indulge and have that little treat that you don't usually have, at least your body has a little bit of support in order to break that down.
You said treat.
What's wrong with saying treat?
Because treat signifies that a reward.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. If you had a little dessert, with the sugar and all of the things. Is that better?
You had the junk.
Like that
junk.
The junk. The junk. Sorry, everybody. We're just disagreeing on our verbiage today. Okay, so we've talked about barbecue season.
Yes.
Now let's go into, because I guess, and this kind of is the same thing for patios, right? Because I know Paige, our lovely Paige, she loves to go to the breweries and the places to go have a drink on the patio and that kind of thing. So if you are somebody that does consume alcohol, this is where we just want to do it in moderation, because we're not saying you can't go and have fun for the rest of your life. Like in the summertime, I go to a really big music festival in August called Veld. I'm a huge house music fan. I have, if you're a house music fan, Tomorrowland is on my bucket list. So if you have an extra ticket, I would love to come with you. Side note. But when I go to Veld, I'll have one, a canned Paloma that has been, I say air quotes, Chris approved.
Because she does send me her SOSs when she goes out. I'm not kidding. Chris, is this approved? Dang. Shoot.
Dang. But so for me, I will have maybe one or two drinks throughout the summer. Because again, it's part of that 80-20 approach. This is where we can really be looking at that 80-20 approach of how you eat. 80% of the time when you have control over what you're eating, eat all of the wonderful things. That other 20%, when you're at events or wherever, that's where you can kind of indulge and choose what you want to have in that 20%. So for me, in that 20% would be a gluten-free cupcake, a gluten-free vegan cupcake that has sugar. I'm celiac, so I can't eat gluten. Or I'd have a Paloma or two when I'm at the music festival. That's part of my 20 approach. So when we're looking at alcohol, something that I really like to do is I prefer to have a mocktail. So what I've been really loving, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Chris, is I find over the last year, mocktails have been really making, I don't want to even say a comeback because they've never really been here, but they've really been
making menus.
Forefront. They're making menus of mocktails, which I love.
That's
because
a big deal.
It's a big deal because this is way more inclusive, whether you're someone like me that doesn't really drink alcohol but still wants a fun drink, or if you have substance abuse issues, you can still be enjoying a drink when you're going out to the patio. So I always ask, do you have a mocktail menu? And then I'll go and I'll order one of those fun little mocktails as well. What about you, Chris? Do you do that too?
Same. Yeah. Or even being in the house, I'll take a little bit of carbonated water and then obviously fill it up with the rest of the water. Take a fresh piece of basil and a lemon wedge, and you just pummel, like with some ice, and you just pummel down the basil. And that change, that is so simple. It changes the whole dynamic, and it's not water. Right.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, what is that sexy something? And I'm like, oh. Do you want me to make you one? I don't tell people right off the bat.
No.
We should have a
I
mocktail
always just
party.
share it. We should have a mocktail party. I think that would be fun. We should do a KSW with the whole team, all 15 of us or however many. I lose count. There's so many of us now.
Yeah. So those are the things I do. I like to mimic like with like. So again, when we go to South Carolina, I'm going to find out the meal plan. I mean, the coach is like, I don't care if they want dino nuggets and fries. And I'm pretty sure my pretend smile was so big, I had no eye left.
Chris, you don't have a poker face at all.
I think I do. I try to.
You can't.
But there was a mirror. There was a mirror in front of me, so I was just like, "Make it work, make it work." Oh, this looks good.
You can do this.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to myself the entire time. But those are the things, right? So we want to keep like with like, because either that or it triggers out that deprivation, right? So so we have the barbecue season, we have the patios.
Oh, and I should know. What? I should know because we have a phenomenal strawberry mojito mocktail on the blog. You everybody, I put that in the show notes. We also, there's more mocktails on there, but they're more like an apple cider sangria for Christmas time and a New Year's pomegranate ginger kombucha mocktail. But if you don't care about, having seasonal things, we have 4 or 5 mocktails that you can put on the blog. But I linked the mojito because I love a good mojito.
And every time you do a blog shoot, you always make sure to have some other drink posted in there, which is really cool, right? And everything. Yeah,
we've
great.
We've really decided that we want to include mocktails in every blog shoot because we shoot once a quarter, because I want to be able to have, I don't drink, so I want to be able to have options for people. And if you are somebody that drinks, you can still take the mocktail recipe and add whatever alcohol you would like to it.
Absolutely. You can do that even when you're traveling. That's why I said, hey, you know what? Why don't you bring your sexy something as a mocktail? You can still travel. You don't have to travel with it all done. You could do it at somebody's home too. Right?
Absolutely.
Half the point is including other people in the process, and because they don't know. They don't know how simple it is. Absolutely. They don't know how delicious it is, right? So watch your words and watch to mimic. Share. Those are my big things. Like, I cannot tell you.
Mimic and share.
If you want a magic wand, right there. Mimic and share. Yeah.
I think can summarize the whole podcast. Mimic and share. And I've always done that over the years. And so 90% of my friends throughout the entirety of my life from childhood until now have all been men. So I have 3 brothers. All my friends are men. So you can imagine they aren't as oh my gosh, Katie, let's go and make this vegan, gluten-free, whatever. So for me, when I was first, starting to eat well, I would bring these types of salads and I wouldn't say anything. I would just put it on the table. And then they'd be like, oh my God, I just had 3 helpings of that salad. That was delicious. We're like, what is that? Who made it? And I was like, me. And they're like, oh. So they automatically know.
They're like, of course it was Katie. Of course it was Katie.
Of course it was
Katie. That's what we all say. Of course it was Katie.
Of course it was Katie. Yeah, as they roll their eyes. But being able to have something to share without, kind of going out and be boisterous about it, and just mimicking what everybody else has. Because that's what I've really done with the blog is the majority of the recipes are a mimicked version of comfort foods and everyday foods. Like, you'll find burgers. I have a burger bun recipe on there, pasta salads, potato salads. I've just kind of made them a little bit more nutrient dense. So that way you can take those recipes and bring them to the barbecue and it really just blend in with whatever else is on the table.
Essentially, you have carbocated.
Okay, hey, now I should have told you my nickname.
You have carbocated them into no bloat, gas, distension, fake pregnancy looking stuff.
Yeah, no one likes to look 6 months pregnant in the summer in a bikini.
Right?
Unless you're actually 6 months pregnant, then you look adorable.
Yeah, then it's so cute. Go for it.
then you're looking adorable.
Right?
I know. I love a little baby bump in a bathing suit. It's so cute.
That's the only time I wore a bikini, by the way.
Really? When you were pregnant?
Probably when I was pregnant, because I was like, I don't care. What are people going to say? I can't.
Chris, what do you have to? What do you have to
I
care
don't
about
know.
now? You're in great shape.
I don't know.
It's just not something you're comfortable with? It's just not something you're comfortable with?
I don't like to get my tummy burnt either. But I just, I don't.
Don't like my tummy burnt.
And it will always get burnt no matter how much I apply because it's just the least amount exposed to sun.
Because it never
let's change the subject right now because this is going not where I wanted it to go.
She's going red. I know. I brought this up on purpose because I love to see you sweat a little bit over there. All right, so let's traveling. Traveling, everybody, traveling. So when we're talking traveling, this could be car trips, this could be airplane trips, this could be wherever trips. So I am a mom of 2 little boys. So car trips, I have to be very prepared for. You need to have all the snacks, all the drinks. I'm definitely using the iPad. Because being in a car with small children for a 4 or 5 hour drive to the cottage is so fun. Super fun. So what I do is this is, again, where you want to prep, where I will generally get like little mini hummuses and, I'll have I really love the, what's it called? Sunflower Kitchen. They have little mini hummuses I get at the grocery store. And then I'll get, the Simple Mills or Mary's crackers. My kids really love, or my toddler, say Frankie, he really loves the Nick sticks, grass-fed beef sticks. So more of that like traveling charcuterie style things where it's like the hummus and the crackers and the veggies, the meat sticks, because you're getting the protein, veggies, like the crunchy chickpea snacks that you can get at the grocery store. Of course, you can home make all of this, but if I'm traveling with my kids, I don't have time to make all of this from scratch.
Well, you can, because you could prepare. However, realistically, it doesn't have to be all homemade. It's just we have to do what we've got to. I mean, I'm not going to go and make a whole bunch of hummus and then now need 3 coolers instead of 2 when I know I'm going to hit a grocery store, right? So it's these things, right?
And that's what I do is like. And then because I was going to skip to the cottage, but I want to keep on the traveling, because another thing is like traveling by airplane, where it's a little more restrictive on what you can bring through security and what is in there. So what I generally do is I make sure I eat something before I, get to the airport, so I'm not famished going through security. And some things I bring in my carry-on is, because I'm crazy, I buy you can get collagen sticks, like the Vital Proteins travel pack. So I'll go on Amazon and order the Vital Proteins collagen. So that way, if, I'm getting like a decaf coffee in the airport, I can add that in. So I'm getting a little bit of that protein and amino acids. And I actually you can get travel raw honey in travel packs. So I will bring that. So that way I can be putting that in my coffee. So those are some things that I bring in my carry-on. So I have a little bit of portable nutrition. And then when I get into the airport, I generally will look for the healthier things on the menu. If you're at a bigger airport, like if I fly out of Pearson, because I live in Ontario, so Toronto, they have lots. They have a lot of options. Like they have, that's when I will get, go and get a little booster juice, but I'll add a bunch of hemp parts. So that way it's slowing down. I'll get one of the healthier ones without all of the juice. I'll add hemp parts. So that way I'm slowing down the blood sugar with the protein. I wouldn't be having booster juice on a day-to-day basis, but when you're in an airport and you don't have a lot of options. But I also find they have hummus now in a lot of little snack stores in the airport as well.
And then someone's going to say, but what about the oils? If it's the least of the evils, if it's the hummus or the bag of chips, let's look at, let's just weigh it out. So when you're traveling, what is the least of the evils?
Exactly. That's a really good point. What is the least of the evils available? Because you're not going to be in an ideal situation where you're like, what about the oils? What about the sugar? What about this? You need to eat. You can't just not eat and die of starvation. Like you need to be getting some type of food and pick the lesser of the evils.
And I went to the cheer team and I've asked for the address to the house so that I could go and do internet search of the restaurants, the boardwalk, because it's huge down there, right? Mini golf. If you're going to go South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, you got to go mini golfing. This is what I've been told.
I want to come now. I've decided.
No. Let's just be clear. No.
I am so good.
You're going to get us kicked out.
I am so going to get us kicked out. I'm great at doing a high pony.
Who agrees with me? She's going to get kicked out when she goes to the coach and goes, I think that was off about 1/2 of a second, and they could probably tighten that up. Arms in, ladies, and you slap your thighs.
That would be me. But
yes, this is why you're not coming.
I have a phenomenal bobblehead. Okay, like I can do like a good bobble and clap, just so you know.
So I'm
I'll
going
be
to
out there,
go
like,
and
please suck me in.
research. I'm going to research the different restaurants in the area. So I'm there ahead of time, already in my head,
Research.
already those, yes, I maybe can call or email them and say, hey, you know what, we're really excited to come and join your restaurant. My daughter and myself, we do have some aversions. Are you da-da-da-da-da, right? I don't tend to, when people ask, is this just like, and some waitresses do that, is this just like and I said, no, it's a full-on allergy.
Nope.
You will kill me.
It's an allergy.
So I say those words, you will kill me. And they're like, I'm like, just kidding, you won't kill me. But it will
I
make
was like,
me.
whoa, Chris, that was 0 to 100.
Because it's the way they're like, is this like,
I know.
Sometimes it's a face. And I tell them, no, you will kill me. And they're like, and I'm like, kidding. But these are the things. So you're going to prep yourself. You're going to know the restaurants around you. You're going to know the grocery stores around you. You're going to make sure that you're going to have some options, right? You're going to eat before you go. You're going to have little travel packs of whatever it is. I guarantee you, Katie does not leave, whether she's going to the cottage or probably grocery store 5 minutes down the road. She does not leave without her travel size matcha. I guarantee it.
I knew where you were going. 100%, because
you have one in your purse right now, don't you?
I keep one in my purse, the travel do matcha packs you get on Amazon.
See? Right
and
there.
anytime, like when we flew to Mexico last year, I literally in the airport, I kind of forgot about like there was an issue with powders. So I had a whole Ziploc bag of collagen sticks and matcha sticks. And the guy picks it up in the airport. He's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's just collagen and matcha, obviously. My husband's like, you're going to get us arrested. Like, why do you do this to me? But I always have the travel matcha sticks. And when we flew to Kelowna in March to meet our new niece, I went with my husband, my mother-in-law, and our oldest, and I absolutely brought travel matcha sticks and my travel collagen and my honey. And we were staying in an Airbnb. So the first thing I did after I booked the Airbnb is I went and looked at the grocery stores in the area. I looked at the little, breakfast place. So that way I was prepared. It wasn't panicking when I got there.
Yeah, especially some people, like I won't have a vehicle. I'm at the mercy of other people's timelines.
Or Uber.
And oh yeah, that's too. However, who's going to do that? Like, in all honesty, who's going to do that?
Do an Uber? Millions of people every day.
Yeah, but I'm not. Like, that's just a whole lot out of my comfort zone.
She has to download an app. It's a whole thing.
Oh, I know. It's not even worth it. So, okay. So traveling, I think we're good there. Camping is really, really
This is not
similar.
my forte.
Okay. So
listen, I don't camp. That. But Paige, in earlier this season, we did the Ask the Nutritionists.
And she had a lot of good ideas.
And Paige camps. Her and my brother, 'cause she's married to my brother, they camp all the time. So she had some great ideas on what to do when you're camping, backpacking, that type of thing, hiking, go back. Because for me, like, I'd be like, can I bring my Vitamix camping? Is that like, that's fine? My husband would be like, no, you're not coming.
And that's the thing. Camping and traveling, very equal. The difference is you may not have access to electricity when camping, depending on how you're doing it. So you have to be able to know, and every camping site has some kind of little cantina or head office that sells ice. So you're filling up the coolers, you're draining the coolers. So you're just going to be holding on to stuff like that. But absolutely. So that's kind of how it goes. Cottage is traveling, except usually we already have our staples there. Like we have salts and peppers.
Here's the thing with our cottage is growing up, my family had rented the same cottage up north in Port Loring for 30 years. So I went from the age of 8 until about 20. And then when I married Frank, his dad, his brother, and his brother-in-law all have a share in a hunt club up in Parry Sound area. And so we each get to pick weeks, but we share the cottage. So we can't leave, like we don't leave things there. And the salt, like the spices are probably 15 years old in that cupboard. So when I go, I have to bring everything.
2 cars.
Salt, pepper, spices. Frank gets so annoyed with me because I go extra, like way too much. I prep way too much food. I pre-buy food. And then when we get to Parry Sound, I go in the grocery store and I get more food. And he's like, no one needs to eat this much. Like, please stop. My poor husband.
And you know what I like to do is when going to the cottage, I like to prepare some things if it's in that.
Yep.
So I might bring that quinoa salad with me already done because I don't have to. But let me tell you, whether I'm going to the cottage, I'm traveling, like locally, not so much traveling abroad, like, or international. That's a little bit different. But when I'm doing these things, I absolutely have a meal itinerary, whether I follow it or not.
Oh,
and you know
absolutely.
do you do this? I will plan it out. That's fine. And I always make
breakfast, lunch, dinner.
I always make a extra what if day. What if we got snowed in? What if we had torrential rains? What if we got flooded? None of this happens, but I need a what if plan.
Well, I need this because our cottage is boat access only. So we actually drive to the lake dock. We unpack our entire car, all of our 600 coolers, because I'm outrageous. I do bring my Vitamix. Frank hates me, weighs the boat down. We put it all on the boat. We park our car and then we boat 20 minutes across the lake. And then we go to our dock, and then our cottage is up on a high hill. So then Frank has to carry all of the coolers up the hill. So I have to be prepared because there is no going into town.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to prepare.
We have to prepare. So please, please, please. So I will do that. I will prepare enough to kind of get us through that next day, at least to lunch.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I find the better than luncheon meat. And I bring some approved crisp bread, these types of things. After that, it doesn't matter. It's spaghetti or barbecue stuff. And now we're back to the barbecue, right?
So a lot of barbecue stuff.
We just recycle. And for those
you don't need to be perfect.
Well, we're going to have somebody that says, well, isn't barbecue carcinogenic? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. 110%. It's not what we do.
The black charring.
Yeah. It's not what we do all the time. Either put it on a lower heat or watch it. These types of things, make sure it has an internal temperature. Just know it can be done, right?
And this is part of that 80-20 approach. So do I barbecue all year long? Nope. But when I'm at the cottage, we have to barbecue most of the time because it's such a small cottage. You don't want to be heating it up that doesn't have AC and it's 45 degrees in the cottage while you're sleeping. So if you actually go to the burger recipe I have on my blog, I put some tips for making barbecue season healthier as well. There's some tips that you can do to lessen the effects. But again, yes, it will be carcinogenic, and the blog explains why.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about weddings? Oh, you know what? Another one? Like I go to seminars. You go to seminars. All of those where we're eating out, when it's catered, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be really hard pressed to tell me that they won't be able to accommodate you.
Very hard pressed.
20 years
Any weddings
in the food
I've ever
service
gone to.
Industry. Like bring it. Bring it. Like, because
and
doesn't
with
matter.
Weddings, they always ask, right, Chris? They always ask on the wedding invite food restrictions, dietary restrictions. So I always will put celiac, no dairy, no corn.
I go, no dairy, no corn, no soy, and no
you attach a separate page.
I do.
You print off a separate page and staple
And my
it.
financial advisor called me and he says, you know what? He goes, you always have your stuff super in ordered and detailed. He goes, you're on me like stink. And he goes, and then I get this. And he goes, of course it's Chris. And he says, you know what?
Chris.
I'm going to do it. We're going to make it happen. And you know that entire catered facility did the exact same meal. I had nothing different.
Exactly. These days, it's like anytime I've gone to bigger, I went to one of my girlfriend's weddings and it was almost identical meal. It was almost identical. It's just I had a different pasta than everybody else.
Yeah. So don't worry about it. The thing is you have to ask. You have to show up for yourself because nobody else is going to be able to do. Yeah. Please do it. I couldn't believe it. You should have saw the card on my plate. It said no gluten, no dairy, no soy, no corn, no dairy, whatever. Everybody's looking at it. I took that card. I still have that card today. I use it as a bookmark. And I'm like, yeah, you know it. I'm excited about it.
That's the thing. Is you just have to be an advocate for yourself. You have to ask for things you need. And I will always double check. So if, when I get to say a wedding and the server comes over and says, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm going to be serving you this evening. I'll kind of just like raise my hand and they come over and I'll say, hey, just a heads up, like, just a reminder, I'm celiac, no dairy, no corn. And they're either like, yeah, thank you so much for reminding me. I was going to ask who at the table had asked that. Or yeah, we have it all prepared. We're fully ready for you. So I always just double confirm.
I absolutely do too, because you know what? Nothing worse than leaving that party, that place, and you felt it. I felt it. You felt it. Everybody listening has felt it at one point, and just you feel gross. And then the next day, how are your bowel movements? Well, I guess there's no unicorns coming out of your bum, are there?
And if you're new to the podcast.
And that's a big deal.
No, if you're new to the podcast. Chris likes to talk about unicorn poops. But that's the thing is I don't want to eat something that doesn't sit well with me, and then I'm not able to enjoy my time at the wedding. You know, my brother is getting married in July at this really beautiful place, and you know, you better believe I wrote all that down, and I'm going to confirm because I want to be able to go and enjoy the evening with my family.
Exactly. So show up ahead of time, plan ahead of time, mimic what you can, right? If you are in deprivation, there is an area that you can go and refine and listen to this again to say, did I miss a step? Did I miss a cue? Did I miss something? Because if you're in deprivation, it's not being done right.
So maybe before we finish up, let's talk a little bit about that feeling of deprivation, because something we do hear from people that are a little bit newer to eating anti-inflammatory, you know, trying to improve their health, and they're trying so hard, it can be really overwhelming. Like when I first started doing this, I was so overwhelmed and I felt deprived because I didn't know how to do it properly. So let's talk about why the deprivation happens and how we can get out of the deprivation and really embrace the abundance of food that we have.
It's kind of, I'm going to go back to the quote, the concepts is when you set yourself up, when you go with like a fuller tummy, when you mimic like, and I know it sounds so repetitive, but I can't even tell you how that removes deprivation. Listen, my neighbor's got a new car. I don't even know what year it is, but it's a silver minivan. They call it the Lamborghini. I don't. I call it the
Lamborghini.
They call it the Lamborghini. It's like a silver bullet. I don't know. There's so many names for this sucker, but it does what it needs to do. Bruno loves it. I can put his whole bed in there, right? He has a chair and then he has an area for his bed. So I'm happy. I'm happy he's happy.
Bruno's the best well-traveled of the family.
Oh my
kids have like the kids have coolers on their laps and Bruno's just sprawled out.
I even bring Bruno's food like that in a cooler packet with his little snick snacks and everything. However, listen, my neighbor's got a car and I was like, oh, I want a new car. See what we do?
Yeah, it's the comparison game. Oh, I want. Oh, I wish.
I do it. Like I look at this beautiful house across the street from me and like, why didn't I get 3 cars? Like, and we do it. And then you got to snap it out and say, because you know what, you had the opportunity and you elected not for it, right? Sometimes we just have to talk to ourselves a little bit in a bit of a common sense like form. However, our society is so finger triggered by social media and everything. People are posting what you want to see, the end.
Yeah, it's real, REEL life, not real life, right?
Yeah.
That's what a part I really don't love about social media is all we're doing is we're putting out that image of perfection to everybody else of what, you know, the most ideal life. So when you go on Instagram, like, oh my God, look how amazing everybody else's life is. I'm not doing that. I'm not having fun. I'm not going on trips. I'm not. It really is that comparison game. That's where I try to stay off Instagram as much as humanly possible.
And you know, I don't even have Facebook because that was gone.
Yeah. I don't go onto my Facebook ever. I don't like Instagram
because it's a quick little scroll, right?
Yeah, I like to go to the reels because I like to watch all the husband reels. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah,
like all
and
the
then we send them to each other. So
the toddler, the kid reels, the wife reels,
and the dog reels.
Dog reels.
Long story short is when it does come to this deprivation, I would love for you to identify that, yes, this is a deprivation. Yes, I feel like I'm missing out. The real big disconnect there is, why do I feel like I'm missing out? What part of this is driving that feeling? What part of this buffet that is in front of me do I desperately want? What part, so that you can remember that. And then next time, if it's you desperately wanted those desserts, but you told yourself, no, then you're going to go and you're going to bring a dessert. See how you set yourself up? So every single deprivation moment is a chance for you to learn from that deprivation.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I did and exactly what I did with the blog. So if you haven't gone to my blog, go and type in a keyword and I can almost guarantee there's going to be something in there that's that, you know, really lovely comfort food for any of the different seasons, because it's when you don't get to enjoy all of the other things. So like I'm celiac. I don't eat gluten, dairy, sugar, corn, vegetable oils, but you better believe I eat all of the wonderful foods, and I never feel deprived because I've just made a different version that suits well with my body. And again, that is a learned skill that I've developed over time. So for you is start maybe thinking of, oh my gosh, these are some of my favorite foods I always see at my family reunion, or that we always have when we go camping. And then give yourself some time to go and check Pinterest, check my blog, check Google for recipes that are going to, still allow you to enjoy those things without feeling deprived. Like something that I always did growing up at the cottage is we would make banana boats when we would have a campfire, because we would open the top and then shove like marshmallows and chocolate and all those things in it, and then we wrap it in tin foil and put it back in the oil in the fire to cook. I know, I was
that
young.
Just sounds disgusting.
So now what I do is I do the same as when we go to the cottage. I do it with my kids. Is I open up the top of the banana, and then instead of marshmallows, I'll do chocolate and maybe some nut butter, those types of things. And then
with a little bit of salt to get all the
a little sea salt. Yeah, delicious. And then I will put that, I'll wrap it in not parchment paper. I will generally do them in the oven, so I can put them in a pan now, and then you melt, and then you can go sit at the fire and you can eat your little banana boat.
Okay, I'm available for the cottage and the banana boat too then.
Remember, boat access only. You can't get away. There's nowhere to hide.
I am a strong swimmer. I can make things
So
happen.
am I. We're strong swimmers. So those are some, remember, and to not go hungry to everything, because I find when people start eating healthier, more nutrient dense foods is they just remove things and don't replace. And you should never be hungry, ever be hungry when you are eating a more nutrient dense diet. Making sure you're getting protein, getting those macronutrients in, like really, really embrace. If you say, let's say pasta is your favorite thing, find an organic brown rice pasta that you can swap in. I also linked a pasta salad recipe in my blog.
Ate it last night.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So there's lots of options. Again, we've now shown you how to look at deprivation in a different way, look at it as a mindset and a habitual lesson. And remember, you're not going to be where Katie and I are because we've been doing it for a long time. Maybe you've superseded Katie, and maybe we look like amateurs, and you have like tips for us. Send them on our way, right?
Send them our way.
Yeah, everything is just a nice little nugget of information that we build on so that we can empower ourselves to do a better job for ourselves. Then in turn, we feel happier. And now at the event, we're not dreading it versus enjoying it.
Amazing. All right, everyone. That was a full fun-filled episode of Fun in the Sun. I hope you enjoy your summer. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We got podcast on podcast week to week, but I hope you enjoy your summer. I hope these were some really helpful tips for everybody. And as always, we will be back next Wednesday with a new episode of the Clear Skin Chronicles.
See ya.
Thanks for hanging out with us this week on the Clear Skin Chronicles. We'll see you next Wednesday with a brand new episode. Remember to subscribe to the show and drop us a review. Sending glowing vibes your way, Katie and Chris.